First, another day, another demonstration of the hypocrisy of Labor and the weakness of Labor leader Anthony Albanese. After hiding from scrutiny for days, the opposition leader finally addressed the issue of Kimberley Kitching's bullying claims and the calls for an inquiry. Albanese still won't come on here for a chat, but he did a few breakfast TV spots, and I've got to say his response to the key question was astounding. It was clinically cynical.
Will you call an independent inquiry into Kimberley Kitching's claims or not?
No, Carl. What I will do is take the words that came out of Bill Shorten, for example, at the funeral, which is that Kimberley Kitching would want us to move on, to dedicate ourselves to a Labor victory at the election.
Say what? A Labor Party colleague has died after she complained about mistreatment by other Labor Party colleagues, and the Labor leader's reason for not holding an inquiry is because he wants to win the election. Well, full marks for honesty there. Women's rights are one thing, safe workplaces are another thing. The trauma leading up to the death of a Labor senator is an issue, and being consistent on issues Labor has weaponised for the past couple of years, that's one thing too, but nothing trumps trying to sweep controversies under the carpet in the lead up to an election. And they wonder why people don't trust politicians. You know, this morning I went back and had a look at my last interview with Kimberley Kitching on this program. It was only last month. It was only a few weeks before she died. And ironically, perhaps presciently, listen to what she said about Parliament House and its culture.
I mean, Parliament House, we make laws here. Those laws, so we should be an exemplar of a workplace. Obviously, we haven't been in Parliament House, and I think every person who works here is responsible, not particular, groupings or whatever. Everyone who works here has a responsibility to ensure that our workplace is a good workplace and it's a safe workplace and a respectful workplace.
Yeah, she was onto this. Kitching wasn't going to overdo the partisanship. She said this was everyone's responsibility. But not Anthony Albanese's right now, apparently, because the election. What a sickening sign of disrespect to their former Senate colleague. And what about this?
There was no complaint made.
Really? No complaint? Kitching had not complained to anyone?
There were no complaints put in any formal sense at all about issues.
Oh, right. No formal complaint. No complaint in any formal sense. But then Senator Kitching had gone to the Deputy Labor leader, Richard Marles, on these issues, and only two people know what was said in those meetings. One of them is obviously no longer with us, and the other, well, here's what he revealed about their meeting last week.
Can I put with respect?
How about
I'm sorry.
Some basic questions here, like how many times she came to you with her concerns and what you did about them. They're very basic questions.
With respect, her funeral has not happened yet.
Yeah, how about that? Marles now says there was no mention of bullying. He won't talk to us either. And Albanese says Marles only talked to Kitching about being dumped from her tactics committee spot. As I said, only two people really know, and one of them is no longer with us. But remember, this is the Labor leader who now says there was no complaint put in any formal sense. Well, remember we showed you last night what he said a year ago.
Women need to feel as though they can come forward with complaints that they have.
Yeah, that's what he said then. The big problem was women being able to come forward with complaints. But now he dissembles over the nature of a complaint in order not to hold an inquiry. Let's be clear a bit about what's going on here. The Labor leader is using the lack of a formal complaint to justify his refusal to find out if there was an informal complaint, and therefore whether there was any behaviour that should be of concern. This is so weak on one level and so ruthless on another that it's pointless trying to judge the political implications. But the Prime Minister has his views.
And if Anthony Albanese just is going to dismiss very serious issues in his own party about bullying in his own party, well, he can't be trusted to show the strength that is needed in international relations and making the tough decisions you have to make about our economy.
Well, whatever all this says about the opposition leader, Albanese has made it clear that none of the revelations, admissions, apologies or claims have changed his views about the so-called mean girls of Labor's Senate team.
Do I have confidence in Penny Wong as Senate leader? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And Katie Gallagher and Christina Keneally are part of the solution. They're not part of the problem.
Not part of the problem. How about that? Albanese could not be bothered conducting an inquiry, but he's come up with some findings anyway. A lot easier doing it that way, I suppose. It sounds like Kitching was the problem and ignoring what happened to her is the solution. In the brutal contest between partisan politicking and common decency, the partisan protagonists have scored another point.